This movie sounds like a dream pitch for mafia movie buffs as Robert De Niro is facing off against Robert De Niro in a gangster flick. A chance to see the genre's reigning titan flex his chops in dual roles. Unfortunately, this movie turns that promise into a plodding and pointless slog. Casting De Niro as both Frank Costello and Vito Genovese, rifle mob bosses in 1950s New York, is the film's sole gimmick, and it's a head-scratcher that adds nothing but a marketing hook to an otherwise lifeless true crime tale. What could have been a rich exploration of loyalty, betrayal, and the twilight of organized crime instead drowns in exposition, sapping all tension and leaving even De Niro's efforts feeling like a reheated retreat. The film kicks off with a bang as Frank Costello takes a bullet to the head in his apartment lobby in 1957, courtesy of Genovese's goon, Vincent Gigante. He survives naturally, and from there launches into a narrated stroll down memory lane, recounting his rise alongside Vito, from scrappy Prohibition-era punks to power players in the Luciano crime family. Frank is the cool-headed prime minister of the underworld, all diplomacy and quiet control. On the other hand, Vito is the volatile loose cannon, itching to reclaim the throne Frank held, while Vito hid out in Italy, dodging murder charges. It's a setup ripe for Shakespearean drama, or at least a gritty Martin Scorsese-like showdown. Instead, we get a sleepy history lesson delivered by an elderly Frank who might as well be flipping through a slide deck at a retirement home seminar. This movie is a snooze fest, full with clunky dialogue and relentless voice-over that smother any chance of cinematic spark. The movie is plodding, bogged down by Frank's droning recounting of names, dates, and double crosses that blur into a numbing haze. The movie is 123 minutes long, but feel like a life sentence. The visuals look cheap, and the pacing is so sluggish you will wonder if the projectionist forgot to crank the reel. De Niro at least tries his best. As Frank, he's all stoic reserve, competent but coasting, with a deadpan quip or two to keep things afloat. His Vito, on the other hand, crackles with a manic age, channeling the unhinged fury of his younger taxi driver days, but without the charm. Buried under prosthetics, he snarls and schemes, but the cartoonish excess undercuts any menace. The film gives him little to bounce off. Vito's POV is a footnote, leaving the dual casting a baffling stunt with no payoff. Why double up De Niro when the script barely probes the parallels between these two characters? There's a nod to their shared roots, but it feels more like an afterthought, not a revelation. The supporting cast fares no better. Debra Messing's Bobby Costello frets elegantly but is sidelined, while Kathrine Narducci's fiery Anna Genovese steals scenes only to vanish too soon. Cosmo Jarvis' Gigante is a lumbering dope, effective but one note. Everyone's basically trapped in a narrative that prioritizes telling over showing, which is draining the stakes. When Vito's hit on Frank flops, or when a climactic mob summit gets raided, there's no pulse, just a shrugging inevitability. Frank's survival is never in doubt, and Vito's downfall feels preordained, robbing the film of any real tension. Overall, this movie wants to be a swan song for the mob era, a meditation on aging titans letting go, but it's too resigned and too derivative to matter. It's not a disaster. It's just a bore, a gangster footnote that proves even two De Niros cannot revive a story this DOA. It's not worth to spend time to watch this. We do not recommend this movie at all.